Hello, and today I'm going to show you how to safely fit a standard UK 3-pin plug onto a 3-core flex. Follow along step by step. Here we have a standard iron and the plug that's on it. I'm just going to show you what this looks like inside. So we're going to open this plug, have a look inside. So we have a brown wire which is going to this terminal, a blue wire which is going to this terminal, and a green and yellow wire which is going to this terminal. We have the fuse across here. The wires themselves, the brown wire is the live wire, and it's actually connected to one end of the fuse, and then the other end of the fuse is where the electricity comes in. So it comes in through there, goes across there, and then up the wire. So if the fuse blows, it breaks inside there, that will stop the electricity from flowing. The blue wire is a negative or neutral wire, and the green and yellow wire is your earth or ground wire. Also in there, what they have is a clamp which must go over the insulation, the outer insulation of the cable, and this is to hold the wire in so it doesn't get pulled out. I have an extension lead, a multi-way extension lead, that has a 3-core flex on it but doesn't have a plug. It's been cut off for some reason. I believe it was faulty or broken. So I have a new plug to go on it, and it normally comes brand new from the shop. It comes with a little wiring diagram and also some information about the plug. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it's actually a little wiring diagram on there that tells you which wire goes where inside the plug. The tools we're going to be using will be a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, possibly some side cutters, and a knife. The first thing we need to do is undo the plug and open it up. The screws on the plug are designed for either a flathead or a Phillips screwdriver. They work with both. So we're going to undo the main screw there. Top comes off, and inside the plug we have our clamp, which is held in by two other screws, our 3 terminals, and our fuse. What we need to do is take out these other 2 screws that hold the clamp in. Now, the clamp themselves. The clamp itself can go in either way up. So, if you can see on there, it's higher one side, so it would act like a bridge. So what you can do, if it's like a big cable, like we're using quite a chunky cable here, you can turn it up that way so that it doesn't squash the cable so much. Because if you squash the cable too much, it will actually cut through the cable, and then that will cause more problems. So the first thing we need to do is strip our outer insulation back a little bit. So we want to bring it back a good couple of inches, I suppose. And the way I normally do that is with a knife. So very carefully open the knife, run the knife round without putting too much pressure on it, just so that it scores the outer edge. So I haven't cut through it, I've just scored it. And then when you bend it, you'll see it splits. And you must obviously be very careful not, because you don't want to cut the inner things. Work it through a few times. If it doesn't come off, you might need to use your side cutters and just pull the side and strip that off. It depends on the flex. Some flexes strip really easily, some have real problems. Now we have our 3 cables there. Set them up so that the brown is to the right, the earth cable is in the middle, and the blue cable is to the left. Lay them on the plug, and you can pretty much see now what we're going to do. We're going to move those two out of the way, and we're going to snip the brown wire, so just to the other side, so about there. So it's just the other side of where it's going to go. So snip your brown wire there. Turn your blue wire around. Now we don't want to have it going, it doesn't necessarily need to go all the way up inside the plug and then in. Nice little turn on it down there. Same again. Sorry if my hand's in the way. Snip it, take it out, and then again hold it in place. Take the earth wire round and snip that one just the other side of the terminal. Now what we've done now is you can see that the three wires are now all different lengths. Now there are two ways of stripping this now, because we need to get down to the bare copper inside. First way is with a knife. We can put it onto the cable, on the thing there, just a little, I don't know, what's that, less than a centimetre or so. And then just roll it around and pull that off. That gives you a nice clean cut. The other way is with side cutters. You can put it on, sort of half squeeze through the cable, turn the other way and pull that off. But it tends to stretch the insulation a little bit. And also, as you can see, it's pulled some of the strands out. So possibly not the best method. Once we've got our cables all nice and neatly stripped, and I've also twisted up the cables inside so that they're in a bundle. Now that helps you put them into the terminals, because when you push them into the terminals they tend to sort of do that, in which case you get bits of cable sticking out and they can touch other cables and short out and cause problems. Open all the terminals inside. Now you don't have to take the screws completely out, just up so that the hole, let me take this out so you can see it. So you can see that the hole there is open and you can still see a little bit of the screw just in there. There. And then again, these screws will work with Phillips and flathead, depends on whichever you want to use. I'm sure different people do these different ways, but what I tend to do is I put the live cable in first, make sure it's all the way in, make sure that where the clamp is going to go is got my insulation and not the inner cables, and I do that screw up. I then do the neutral wire, the blue wire, get the green one out of the way, turn the blue wire. This is probably difficult to show. It's in, and just pop that into the hole in there. That's it. Hold it with your thumb because it will spring out again. Nice and tight. Now, what we do now is we get that blue wire and we just push it off there and inside. So it goes flat inside the plug. Then we do the earth wire over the top of the blue wire and push that into the hole up the top. There, and again hold it in place with your thumb or your finger and that screw up nice and tight. Now we can put our fuse in, so our 13 amp fuse, plug that in there. Now we can start putting our clamp on. So hold it over, put the screw through from the other side. Sorry, I'm trying to, that's it, and give it a couple of turns to get it started on there. Just got it a little bit, that's it. So it's just on one screw, turn it round, put the other screw in. Once they're both started, we can do our clamp up nice and tight. And what's happening is that those screws are pulling that clamp down onto the cable. Make sure our cables are tucked down, because when you put this screw in, you don't want them nicking or cutting any of the cables. Put the back of the plug back on. Do that screw up. And there we have it. Our plug is fitted, ready to go. We can now test this and see how well it's going to work. I've plugged our extension lead into a socket, and if we turn it on, the first indication that it should be working is the red neon light that comes on there. So that tells you they're working. And the next thing I could do is I have my plug-in tester, which will not only will tell me if it's working, and there we go, and it's showing up the correct wiring system. Well, there we have it. It's a simple little job, fitting a plug onto a 3-core flex for, in our case, an extension lead. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this video useful. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.